Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Legacy of Leaders here on Daily Ad Brief. I'm your host, Wayne Feldsman. On Legacy of Leaders, we interview entrepreneurs and change-making business professionals all about what it truly means to lead. Today, I'm super excited to introduce you to our guest, Mr. Scott Bernstein of Mittcom. Scott, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure. Nice to meet you, Wayne.
Yeah, pleasure is all mine. If you don't mind, tell us a little bit more about what Mittcom does. You guys are just out of Boston, I know, but
Sure.
tell me about yourself, about the team.
Yeah, we're a small full-service advertising agency, about 24 people. We're right outside of Boston. We have a real interesting stable of clients that go everywhere from home improvement. We have a toy practice. We have a lot of toy companies for clients. We also do a lot of automotive, a lot of retail. So we have a real diverse roster of clients that we work with.
Beautiful, beautiful. Having such a diverse roster of clients can, at least in my agency experience, get a little tough. How do you go about, delegating different people appropriately? Do you stick in different industries for individuals, or tell sort of about how you structure and handle so many different clients?
It's a really good question. Like, we have different levels of expertise within the organization. Like, we have teams of people that deal with social media, paid social, organic social, paid search. We also have a full media buying department. So when we have a client that has certain needs based on their strategy, we put teams on it. And yes, there are certain people within our agency that are really focused like on the toy side of things, mostly our creative department and our social media department. Automotive, there's a lot of paid search and a lot of TV and media buying. So it's all based on the client and their needs.
All based on the client, their needs, and then the individual skill sets of your team also.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
Absolutely wonderful. That's what delegation is all about, delegating people's strengths to them. We were talking a little bit about hiring before the interview started. And, you mentioned you're fortunate you're in Boston, you have the most universities per capita, and you're getting some talent out of there. From a leadership perspective, tell us a little bit about how when you hire some new talent, you're onboarding people, training them up. What tips and advice can you give to people to appropriately onboard new individuals into your company?
The interesting thing about this business is it's an apprentice business. It's not like you can go to school, learn law, and apply the law by joining a firm. The best way to learn how this industry works is to get in it and do it. So the way that we work is when we've got new talent that comes on board, we put them on our teams and they learn by doing. Essentially, we have mentors internally. Our leadership is all based on group leaders that manage the talent. And so we put them in the mix and they go side by side and work with different people within each organization, in each team, to get a company, to and really used to, what the cadence looks like on a day-to-day basis. So once they get a handle on that, then they start to handle and manage accounts for themselves. But for a good 6 months, they're shadowing people internally.
Wonderful, wonderful. Learn by doing. They have internal mentors. Have you always done that, or sort of where did you learn that almost leadership style that you're using?
Yeah, well, it really trickles down from the top. I'm COO of this organization, but our CEO, Bruce Mittman, he is a real agency experienced executive. The guy's been in this business his entire career. And he was the first person that told me when I came on board 8 years ago, he's like, listen, buddy, this isn't something that you're going to pick up in a day. In about 6 months, you're really finally going to feel like you got a handle on it. And he was right. It really takes time. And it's that care and feeding of your talent, which gets them the experience they need and their ability to really act strategically on the best interest of on our clients and, their day-to-day relationships.
Amazing, man. Everybody out there, rewind that back and re-listen to it again, right? Because it takes time. You have to be willing to work with people and sort of progress, right?
Absolutely. It takes time. And the big thing about it is you also got to discover really what your own personal talent is. You come into an organization and you're not put into this, certain role that you're only going to provide a certain level of talent for our agency. We want people to grow. And if you come in as an account manager, whether you want to run the account department, whether you want to get more into digital or social, based on what people's talents are is how we help them steer themselves in their careers. Because a lot of people that come on board here, they're young, they're fresh out of school or a year or two out of school, and it makes a big difference in how they're going to point themselves down the road in their career to how they get their feet wet, what they learn about the accounts, where they really understand their talents are. Are they, diligent taskmasters that can really go through a punch list and make sure everything's done? Or are they more on the creative side? Or are they more on the strategy side? Once we determine that, then we start putting them in the direction and on the right team for where they belong.
Beautiful. Scott, thank you so much for giving that amazing insight, really giving people time to learn, to grow, find their own skills, try different things. Wonderful. And, time flies. A little short 5 to 7 minute interview, so quick, but I'd love to have you back another time. I really appreciate it.
Love it. Would love it. It's really great to meet you, Wayne. Hope to see you again soon.
Dude, thank you. The pleasure is all mine. To everybody else out there, thank you for tuning in today. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about Scott and Mittcom, visit us over at dailyadbrief.com. Until next time, you've been listening to Legacy of Leaders.